And if I didn't have this overlay, you guys, there's no way you would have told me that you thought I was outside the parking lot. You would have been like, CDome, you're somewhere upstairs, second floor. I'm on grass and concrete. And then right there is where it comes back into play. The game isn't giving you a higher decibel, but since you're now telling your headset, focus in on this specific frequency, then you're going to hear that more. But all the gunshots are going to be like real, boop, boop, boop. They're going to be like crazy explosions. You're going to hear car sounds like, everything's going to be like just really cranked up. A TLDR on Footsteps in PUBG. So just for quick context, again, I was recording footage of a whole bunch of different scenarios for HRTF, which is really for gunshot sounds, but I was making sure it didn't affect footstep sounds as well. HRTF is basically like spatial audio. PUBG added it like 6 years ago, okay? But it's always been one of those things where some people say add it, some people say keep it off. It could throw off like your directional audio or the loudness of the shots depending on the direction. So I'm going to be going over a guide on that soon, but I had to put that on pause because while I was recording footage for that, I ran into this. So, and this is Aaron Gal's school, and I do have the audio cranked up in post, like an extra 10 or 20 decibels, just so you could really hear exactly what was going on. So this is obviously not how your game's gonna sound. It's not even how my game sounds, but just the audio sounds and cues are what I was experiencing and what I wanted to show. So I'm just gonna play it. I'm not gonna say anything. If you guys already saw it on Twitter, then you know. But if you're seeing this for the first time, let me know if you see the issue. It's a 40-second clip. Here we go. All right, any hints yet? Any takers? All right, I'm gonna go back to the specific section in case you missed it. Take a look at this here. So right now, this character is upstairs, right? And you can tell he's upstairs by the doom, 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 doom. That like loud bassy, that's the steps of someone being above you on wood or whatever. Okay, so I then run out of this window. I vault onto the concrete ground. So now I'm ground level with this character because this character is also first floor front door. All of these footsteps that are still playing are as if this character is second floor. Doom, 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 doom. Now watch when I start to turn over here and I start to run back towards this player. Once I get a certain number of whatever meters away, the audio like refreshes. And then it starts to play the proper outside concrete footsteps. Then I run back and it plays the normal footsteps. Right there. So right around this position is when you can hear it kind of go ch-ch-ch. I was on the same terrain this whole way over here, but it was do 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 do, and then all of a sudden ch-ch-ch-ch. And now that I'm running back here, you can see it's going back to the correct audio of what it should be. I'm inside. Playing proper audio now. So you can imagine if you were this player ratting, listening to an enemy run around, and you're hearing the player upstairs the whole time going do 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 do. They jump out. You don't know they ever jumped out and they're no longer above you because the audio that you were getting was it was still playing the same audio from above. So I'm back on first floor and I'm running back to the door. That's normal audio, as it should. Now, I posted that on Twitter. That's what I found last night. I was like, hold, this is stupid. There's no way this is real. So then I went and recorded another example. I'm going to show you guys this new example that I haven't shown anyone else yet. All right. So again, audio and everything's cranked up, right? HRTF does not affect this at all. HRTF is for gunshots, does not affect footsteps. That'll be part of my future video that I show. I was doing that part of the video when I encountered this bug. So that's put on pause for a second while we discover and analyze this new bug. All right. So this is the same scenario. Okay. I'm recording from POV here, and I'm running around with this character, just listening to this character. Then I overlaid the replay. All right. So the POV that you're hearing is from this guy right here, first floor, front door. So now watch this character. Going upstairs, second floor. Vaulted out. Okay. Vaulted out of the window. Now listen real closely. Doing a wide wrap here, but just listen real closely. It's crazy how loud the ambient noise of PUBG is if you crank it up real loud too. Okay, watch. Get ready. Get ready. Y'all hear that? I'm outside of the parking lot on concrete and grass. And if I didn't have this overlay, you guys, there's no way you would have told me that you thought I was outside the parking lot. You would have been like, CDome, you're somewhere upstairs, second floor. I'm on grass and concrete. And then right there is where it comes back into play. So right up until about this position, then the game's like, oh shit. Like I'm playing the wrong audio cue. Let me fix this. So right about here. Right at this position. And I don't know if it's has something to do with the distance from the originating player, like from their POV. I don't know if it's like an audio rendering bug where the game doesn't know like how quickly to refresh and look for what audio cues should be playing. The way I was able to reproduce it, like just as a whole new example I just did, is what I think is that once you get a certain distance away from the player, the game is reusing the same audio cue that it last heard the enemy have. I don't know if this is repeatable. I'm still doing more tests, but this is what I repeated at this location. I'm going to try it in other buildings and stuff like that. But it feels like to me the game isn't looking for an updated surface type to play the correct audio cue. It's just going, I know an enemy, that enemy that you previously heard upstairs, I know he's within X distance of you. So here's that old audio reference file at whatever decibel it should be at. And you can clearly hear it's like do 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 do, and then all of a sudden you're back on concrete like it normally should be. Grass, concrete, jump. So it's so strange. And I know I've died to this and I've seen this myself in game, like, and not just in school, in other buildings, where I'll see somebody, they'll spook me and I'll be like, I swore that guy was above me. You know, like I would have told anybody, enemy second floor or whatever, and all of a sudden they're in the bottom floor corner or something like that. And this has got to be what it is. So strange. And like I said, I don't know what the cause is. I don't know what the fix is. This is regardless of HRTF on or off. I did it with shoes, without shoes. I think I might even have a clip of with shoes. So now this is from POV, so I didn't overlay the replay, but I mean, this is what everything was being recorded from. Okay. Boots. So right here, you can clearly hear like the audio from wood to concrete to wood. You can clearly hear it here. You can hear it coming back, coming in as I'm running away, coming forward. I'm first floor, wood. You immediately know the audio cue difference of wood above you. Like it gets significantly more bass. Now, keep in mind, everything that I'm showing you in this file in Adobe, I cranked it up like 10 or 20 decibels. So obviously yours is not going to sound exactly like this. This is going to be audio peaking, but this is just to accentuate the different sounds that the game is giving me. So last known position that the game is telling me is second floor above me wood. I'm first floor now, back where I was just getting told that audio. Now the game is still telling me this audio. And then when I get about whatever 20 meters away from the character, when I start running back towards them, a certain thing happens and then the game re-registers, oh, this is supposed to be a different type of audio file. Play the correct audio file. And then once it does, then it's good. But I just wanted to show you, even with boots on, because I know that was going to come up, like boots, no boots, whatever. It's still repeatable. So yeah, that is obviously a very big issue because it's a repeatable bug, and I haven't tested it in other buildings, but I know I've experienced this type of bug in other buildings, like in other parts of PUBG. Maybe not, I can't even say if it was just on Erangel or if it was on other maps. I have to imagine it's on other maps as well. I'm sure you guys have experiences where it's similar, where you're like, man, I would have sworn that guy was above me or below me, and I was getting different audio cues. And I mean, this is exactly what I think is happening here. I don't know what the cause is. I don't know what the fix is. I reported it to PUBG. I don't know. So I just wanted to show that to you guys, let you know it's a thing. You're not going crazy. If your teammates tell you, bro, he was upstairs, and like you're like, he was not upstairs, he was downstairs, they literally might be getting bamboozled by PUBG. So I don't know. Let me know if you guys have experienced it. I'll be reading some of y'all's comments on the YouTube video. Yeah, HRTF again. Just to be clear, I found this bug while I was testing HRTF. Okay, so I have other videos in this file. I'm still going through and editing. I'm not going to play these, but I've tested HRTF off, on. It has no discernible difference on footsteps. It's strictly for gunshot sounds. Okay, so that has nothing to do with footstep movement, with shoes, without shoes, none of that kind of stuff. That HRTF analysis will be coming for the next week or two. But yeah, that's how I found out that bug, by the way. Yes, they do need to fix it ASAP, but I don't know what the cause is. I don't know if they know what the cause is. So it's gonna be hard for them to fix something that they don't know what's causing it, you know? Yeah, Rogue, I was thinking at first, is like, maybe if there's other things going on, then the game doesn't know what to prioritize, but there was literally nothing going on in that audio cue. Like, it was just ambient wind noise. There was no plane, there was no shots like near, like there was nothing else to be prioritized or played. So really, really odd. Is barefoot steps quieter than those with shoes, or it's the same audio level? It's a good question. So we've gone over this a few times in the past, but the TLDR on that question is the shoes versus no shoes thing. PUBG's updated this about 3 or 4 years ago. The way they updated footstep sounds in PUBG is 2 ways. Number 1, there is no louder or quieter way to walk around in PUBG. Okay, so they made sure that regardless whether you wear shoes or don't wear shoes, the decibel level of your footstep will be exactly the same at the same amount of distance away. So whatever the distance is out, don't quote me, I think it might be like 40 meters away or something like that. It's like the longest you can hear someone's footsteps, like running. You can hear that footstep, shoe or no shoe. However, the difference is the frequency that gets played for that audio file. So, and you can hear that difference. So with no shoes, you get that kind of like a barefoot pat, 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 pat. You get that little audio cue. With shoes, even if you're on grass, you hear a bit more bass, a bit more doot, 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 doot. You kind of get more of that added in. So what that means is that even though Pubg isn't going to give a higher decibel level for either one of those footsteps, each one of those footsteps has a different frequency assigned to it. And that means that depending on your audio settings, you could hear one of those louder or quieter than the other. So a lot of people nowadays have like I have a Steel Series, headphones. They have their own, they call it GG software. Inside of that software, you have an equalizer where you can change all of the different frequencies. You can change the low frequencies, the mids, the highs. And so, for example, if you take your low frequencies and you crank those up, your people with footsteps, or people with shoes rather, are going to make a louder, more noticeable sound because you cranked up your low frequency level in your headphone software. The game isn't giving you a higher decibel, but since you're now telling your headset focus in on this specific frequency, then you're going to hear that more. There's some drawbacks to that where you might hear shoes footsteps louder, but all the gunshots are going to be like real boop, boop, boop. They're going to be like crazy explosions. You're going to hear car sounds like everything's going to be like just really cranked up. Anything that uses that low frequency. The alternative is also true. If you have the high frequency, which is like no shoes, okay? So you get that little pat, 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 pat. You get that higher frequency play. If you crank that up in your software, then yes, you specifically would hear a person who was not wearing shoes. You'd notice them quicker. However, gunshots are going to be way more ear-piercing loud. Like instead of being like cow, cow, it's gonna be like pow, pow. It's gonna be like really, really like screeching, definitely loud because you're now cranking up the sensitivity on your high frequencies. So from Pubg's perspective, there is no noticeable decibel difference, but they are produced at different frequencies. So you take that and do whatever you want to do with your audio settings. Me personally, I like my eardrums. I'd like not to wear hearing aids when I'm 40. So I actually take my low frequencies, I tone that down a little bit. I take my high frequencies and I tone that down a little bit as well. So technically I'm taking away some of the advantage that I could have just in favor of my hearing. A TLDR on footsteps in Pubg. And I'll probably go into that a bit more in depth when I actually do that HRTF video, which again, I'm in the process of recording stuff for it now.